Hi, this is Shauna Riley from Team Zuber and Associates at Stonehouse Realty. I'm here today with Manny from Mortgages Lab and Chris from Home Equity Bank. And we're going to be going over reverse mortgages. Hi, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I have just some questions as I am a senior real estate specialist, so I do have clients that are in the age 55 plus group, and some of them, want to know how they can take advantage of their equity in their homes. So just wanted to know a little bit about what is a reverse mortgage.
Okay, so basically a reverse mortgage is a mortgage where it's what they used to call balloon mortgages, where you get a chunk of the equity in your house and you actually don't have to put a monthly payment to pay it back. And yes, you accumulate the debt, but as your house appreciates, your equity position in the house continues to grow. So this way you can access that money and enjoy it and use it for all kinds of things that we can talk about. And you still maintain full ownership of your house.
Oh, that's fantastic. So next question I have is, so how does a homeowner take advantage of the equity in their home? How do they, go ahead and request for a reverse mortgage? How do they go about doing that?
So requesting the reverse mortgage, you contact a mortgage broker like myself, and we can take you by the hand and do it all the way through to the end. As for how you can use it, there's so many different scenarios, and I think, Chris, you will be best to talk about that because you see those clients way more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a product that's changed a whole bunch over the years. I mean, reverse mortgages aren't new, but they were done very differently in the United States than they are here in Canada. A lot of people don't know that we're a federally regulated bank here, and so the program's really changed and evolved to kind of meet the needs of our aging population. And the needs are sort of endless. When you look at the regular mortgage world, it's always about income and credit. But the challenge we have in Canada is when you're retired and you're on a fixed income, you can have all the equity in the world, but if you don't have a lot of income, it's hard to qualify for a loan. So a lot of these people feel sort of trapped. They have a lot of savings stored up in their homes, but they're struggling with cash flow. They don't have the income they would like to have at this stage in life. And so regular mortgages are harder for them to get, plus they don't want to make a payment every month. And so CHIP can be used essentially like a big credit line now. So you have to be 55, that is our bare minimum. And then we give you essentially like a big credit limit against the home. And they can take that money and use it to, many will use it to pay off debts. And so they can eliminate those debts and eliminate those payments. Some are using it just to live a better quality of life. They want to travel and enjoy life now that they have all the time. We're seeing now with the super high house prices in Greater Vancouver, we're seeing a lot of that generation pulling some money out and doing early inheritance to their kids. So they can enjoy giving that money today while they're still alive. Because it's a loan where you can use the money, you don't have to make a payment. It's easier to qualify for, and so it's not a lot of burden on them, but it helps them stay in their home.
So you're finding a lot of people, a lot of your clients might be using that to help their kids purchase another home, perhaps, or are you finding that?
Yeah, right. The days of gifting $20,000 as a down payment are over in Greater Vancouver, right? We're looking at $200,000 down payments, and so if you're over 55 and you're wanting to help children in some way, where do you come up with that kind of money, right? And many don't have liquid cash, but they have equity. And if they were to take a regular mortgage out on their home, they have to qualify for it and they have to make a payment every month. But with a CHIP, it's a lot easier to qualify and nobody has to make a payment. So the kids get money today when they really need it. It helps them buy a home. Yes, they'll get less money in the end when eventually the parents pass on, but hey, who cares? They got a house today. So.
Right, well, that makes sense. No, that's great. I do have a few more questions regarding that. So are there any advantages of taking a reverse mortgage versus a Heloc, a home equity line of credit? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, you can speak to the Heloc because you do a lot of those as well. I'd say the big difference really is qualifications these days. Lines of credits you have to qualify for based on the stress test. And so if you're a fixed income pensioner, especially a widower or widower, like I see countless people who are making less than $2,000 a month. They don't qualify for lines of credits. And even if they could, they can't afford that payment they have to make every month. As they use that line of credit, that payment gets bigger and bigger, right? And it's concerning for them. So the difference here is you're approved based on your age and your property, not your income.
Oh, okay.
So it's a lot easier to get approved, and then of course there are no payments to be made. So that's really the big differences. Do you have anything to add to that, or?
Yeah, so when it comes to lines of credit, for instance, what we see a lot in Canada is that in many families, especially families that are now couples that are in their late 70s and 80s, historically, the husband was the breadwinner. Now imagine that the life expectancy of men is shorter. So we see a lot of widow women that they actually never held a job. Like they had the greatest job of being a homemaker and raising the kids, but their earning potential was never there. And now when they need to qualify for a line of credit, they will not qualify. And again, even if they do, they can't make the payments. Going into a home equity bank and a cheap mortgage just takes all that stress and all that problem away. And one of the big differences between a home equity line of credit and a cheap mortgage is that in a cheap mortgage, your age is your friend. The older you are, you actually qualify for more, right?
Okay.
As opposed to a Heloc, the older you are, you're actually going to qualify for less if you qualify at all, right? So it is really a great solution for families. The other thing is that with cheap mortgage, you can actually set up like an allowance, like a certain amount of money that would just come every month on a regular basis, just like another income, right? You can't really do that with a home equity line of credit. You actually need to go and withdraw every time. So it's really about finding the right solution for the right client. I had clients that came with cheap mortgage in mind, but the right solution for them was either in alternative lending or in a Heloc. And I had client that came for a Heloc, and it was absolutely the wrong product for them. And once I told them about cheap mortgage, that was their go-to. It really solved the problem.
Yeah. You bring up a good point on flexibility now. So we approve people for up to 55% of the value of their home.
Oh, okay.
But everybody gets different amounts based on their age. So in, like Manny was saying, the older you are, the better. So if you're kind of in that 78, 80 years old and older, you actually probably get our full 55%. But if you're younger at say 55 or 60, you can get a much lower limit from us. And so that is sort of how we determine how much you can get. But how you take it is very flexible. You can either pull it all out in one lump sum if you have needs, or you can set it up as $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month that comes out of their home. So we're seeing a lot of people using that for home care.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You know, in light of the last 2 years, there's less of a desire to rush to care homes and facilities like that. So people are choosing to stay and age in place. But of course, they need money to help pay for the care workers to come in. And this is a great way to you set up this limit on the home, and then you draw out the month by month cash flow to pay for your care.
Yeah, well, that's great.
Yeah.
Now another question I have. So do you have to wait till you're 55 years or older to be able to qualify for a reverse mortgage, or can you maybe take advantage of it a little bit earlier than 55? Or
that is the minimum age, yeah.
That is minimum age?
That applies
Okay.
to anybody with rights to the property. So even if there's
Okay.
even if you have a spouse or a common law, even if they're not on title of the home,
Yeah.
if they have rights to that home, technically they have to be 55 years of age.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. So some other common questions that I've been getting is, so am I going to lose my home? So if I take out that reverse mortgage and I'm having troubles, paying off, making payments, my understanding is so you can always pay that off later, right? It's not something that like you can pull out the money out of that other reverse mortgage and then you can pay that at a later date.
Yeah, so there's some flexibility. Majority of the clients don't make any payments at all. They're doing this because they want better cash flow. So
Right.
instead of paying the interest every month, they let the interest accumulate. But we
Yeah.
do allow people. So if you'd like to pay, you can actually pay up to 10% a year against this loan.
Oh, okay.
If you have the extra money and would like to do that. But are you going to lose your home? Very unlikely.
Okay.
Reason being is how conservative we actually are. So not everybody's getting the maximum from us. When you're younger, you get less. And what we find over time is that if you have a loan that's going to increase over the years from the interest adding up, you also have a home that's probably appreciating over time as well.
Yeah.
And in our experience, if the real estate market just keeps up with basic inflation, goes up at even 2 or 3% a year, you'll probably find that they maintain their equity position because that home appreciation. But we actually have a guarantee as well. And our guarantee is you'll never owe us more than your house is worth at the time you sell.
Oh,
So
okay.
if they lived extraordinarily long and the housing market crashed and they owed more than their home was worth, we can't ask them to leave, we can't ask them for payments, and if they sold for fair market value and there wasn't enough to pay us back, that's on us. That's a loss that we absorb.
Oh, interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I think you pretty much, you've answered all my questions here. Are there any maybe some common questions that you guys get from your clients that are looking at a reverse mortgage, or something, maybe concerns that they have when they come in to apply for that?
So one of the question was about the 55 age mark.
Yeah.
A reverse mortgage is a very, very powerful tool, and there are, when you work with a mortgage broker, we do have other lenders in the space that do similar things with under 55 of age, for instance. One good example is I want to move. In order to sell my house, I need to do a full remediation of something, a problem, right? I need to change all my appliances or whatever it is. And all of a sudden, I need this big chunk of cash so I can actually set up my house property for a sale. Well, I don't have that money. So there are other products that allows us to take a part of the equity in the home, do all the renovation you need to do, and then you pay it back once you sold. So we do have kind of, I call it a Swiss knife for mortgages, like this power tool that can solve a lot of problems. So that's one tool that is interesting. The main concern, and I come from nursing. Before I became a mortgage broker, I was a nurse, and I was very concerned with what is considered to be predatory products or practices that target old age and seniors, and I was very, very conservative. So something a debt that continues to grow against your house was something that always scared me until I started brokering and I got educated on cheap mortgages, and I saw what a powerful solution it is to exactly that population of clients that I'm trying to protect. Instead of facing hardship and having to leave their homes, we now allow people to get older in their homes. They stay in the community. They stay close to their friends, their contacts, their services that they're used to. They're not forced to go out of the house because of hardship. We see a lot of families that were middle class, working class people bought into Vancouver. They did not know that their little cottage house will be worth $3 million, and they did not they did not expect to pay taxes of $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a year.
Yeah.
Right? So here is a solution that allows them to stay in their homes, and they're not forced to sell and go somewhere else just because the neighborhood around them grew to something that is unaffordable otherwise.
Yeah.
Right, so it is really, really a great solution, and as a previous nurse, I can tell you that people do better in their homes. If you go
Yes.
into gerontology research, people live longer, happier when they get older in their own homes. That products allows me to help my clients do that, and I just love it.
Yeah.
And just to add to that, while majority of people are using this product, I think traditionally to age in place and stay in their homes because they're comfortable, we can actually be used in purchase transactions as well. So what we are also seeing is some different scenarios coming up where people have a property that maybe isn't suitable for aging in place, too many stairs, too much yard work, and they're actually ready to find a different place. But they're looking for a nice rancher, close to amenities, close to their doctor, still close to their kids. And in a lot of cases, once they've sold and paid off their debts, they maybe don't have enough money left to buy the home they actually would like. And so we're seeing people use reverse mortgages in a lot of cases to actually purchase their next home. So I'll give a quick example. It's maybe they sell their house and pay off all their debts and they have $800,000 left, but they found a really nice rancher for 1.2 million. They can't afford that because they're retired and they're fixed pensioners. But they can actually use a reverse mortgage to buy that place. So they could put down their $800,000 and take a $400,000 reverse mortgage to purchase the home they really want to be in and not be burdened with making monthly payments. And then there's one other one we're seeing too, is that given how hot the market is, we see people that want to downsize. They're ready to downsize, but they don't want to sell their home first and then have to find something because there's not a lot of inventory.
Yes.
So they're looking for that perfect place, and when it comes up, they want to buy it right away. And so we've been used in that scenario as well. We have a fully open reverse mortgage that can be used to pull money out of their home and the home they're buying, and they can outright buy that next home while they're still living in this home and take their time moving over, get the other one ready, list it, sell it, and pay off that reverse mortgage. So it can be a great way to sort of bridge that gap and buy your next home.
Oh yeah, but no, that's a great product. I'm happy that you mentioned that because I do find that kind of stress level right now with a lot of buyers because they're finding themselves like in that scenario where should I sell first, should I buy first? And what if I end up having to move, and they don't want to have to move twice and rent temporarily
Yeah.
while they're looking for another
Yeah.
property. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's amazing. Yeah, great product for sure. Yeah, well, I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you meeting with me today and going over reverse mortgage. And yeah, if anybody has any questions or need assistance with their mortgages, you can get in touch with Manny here from Mortgages Lab and Chris from Home Equity Bank, and myself on the real estate end. If you need any assistance, feel free to reach out to me. Have a great day.